one more thing.
What's going on? It's Dave Colombo Jenkins here, and this is Diary of a Label Owner. A little bit Diary of a CEO, a little bit Diary of a Wimpy Kid, a little bit one more thing, trying to find out how to run a label better in 2026. Over the course of this series, I'll be interviewing label owners or people who've had a lot more experience than I have, and I'll be picking their brains on a particular subject every single episode. This first episode actually kind of came about by chance, but it all felt really apt, so this is why I'm putting it together. I did this interview with Diligent Fingers in December in support of his album. We've still got loads of clips of that, which are rolling out every now and again. You see them on the channel. Diligent Fingers is a regular on this channel, and someone who's definitely cut from a very similar cloth to me in terms of kind of ethics and how he runs everything and how he sees the world and wants fairness. I really, really respect him and rate him. And we were doing an interview, and I thought it was on release day for Fireworks Factory's EP, Infinite Crash and Wave and Back to You. That had gone out, all of the promo kind of, got posts on the day gone out, and then I was doing a little interview with Dilly, and I thought I'd ask him all about release day, because I don't like release day. I love running a label. I really love the fact that One More Thing has become a label and has some amazing music on it. I love the whole curation process. I love working with artists, the whole promo process, and coming up with all sorts of interesting ideas. I love the fact that it's a massive responsibility handling somebody's art and putting it out into the universe. I love working with them on the artwork and giving them freedom on the artwork. I love the kind of routine of it, but also the freedom of it all. It really suits me mentally in terms of what I want from a creative project. Hopefully One More Thing will remain a label for a very, very long time to come. But I think having these discussions is going to be a much stronger, more efficient and better label from what I learned from these interviews. So, it was release day for Fireworks Factory's release. We'd done as much as we could in terms of promo that day, because there is only so much promo you can do in a day before the algorithm sense your desperation. And I was feeling a little bit anticlimactic. I always do on release day. That particular one I wasn't feeling so bad on, but I released a little while later then on January the 1st, a few weeks ago, at the start of this year, the Incandescent album that we've released, which is massive and amazing and a real labour of love, and probably the biggest thing that One More Thing has ever put out. There's no probabilities about it. It is. It's fantastic. And if you haven't listened to it, please check the links below and support it. I'm so proud of it. But on release day, January the 1st wasn't a good day. It doesn't matter how much effort I'd put in. There was nothing that could happen besides maybe like the whole Will buying the album that would make me feel like all of the effort that I put in was paying off. And that's because nothing happens on release day. People are going to support it, but it's a much, 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 much longer game. And I do know that. But I still, being an impatient person, having expectations, being an excited person, and being very passionate about what I'm putting out into the world, I still find release day incredibly difficult. I say to all my artists on release day, especially if it's an early release for them or a significant release like an album, do your posts, mail your mailing list, do what you need to do, and then turn that laptop off. Go outside, touch the grass, sit down, do whatever you want to do. Enjoy yourself because you've done all that hard work. Of course, it's not as simple as that, really, and you'll be overthinking that all of the time and sitting there thinking like, oh, no. So I wanted to know how Dilly deals with things. He's always got a real level head on his shoulders, and I really admire how he runs Spinal Records and how he works his art as well. He's an artist, so he knows both sides of the release day process in terms of what it's like from being an artist and what it's like from being a label. So this was filmed back in December. Incandescent is out now. This is episode 1 of Diary of a Label Owner. And I'm going to pause the interview every now and again and pull up on little bits that I think need elaborating on, or have specific examples from One More Thing that I can provide you with. And then at the end, we will wrap up what we've learned from the interview. I don't know about any other series of, I've not seen any series of interviews or anything or podcasts on running a label. If there are any, can you please link them in the comments? Because I would love to know more and I would love to watch more. I'd love to find out more. If any of these tips or points that we've raised in the conversation have been interesting, please comment on them, please share it, please clip it, please spread the word. And please big up my kids as well, because they did the cool little illustrations. This is Diligent Fingers and this is Diary of a Label Owner. Enjoy.
one more thing.
I'll do a lovely little intro now. Yo, what's going on? You are in tune with One More Thing, and I'm joined once again by regular guest of the show, Diligent Fingers. I want to get some advice from you, from a
Okay.
label owner to a label owner, and you've been doing this a lot longer than me, label-wise. Today is release day for me. Fireworks Factory, something that we've been building up for ages. I find release days an
Mhm.
anticlimax. It doesn't matter how much work you do beforehand or how much things you've got like set out for promo and scheduled. Release days, it's like you're looking forward to Christmas or your birthday or something like that, and
Yeah.
then it comes. And I think it's because the world, you can't expect the world to just suddenly listen to what you put out there. You've got to wait for it, and it's a bit like fishing. You've got to be really, really patient. But
Yeah.
oh man, for someone who's so impatient like me, that I find it tricky. So how do you find release days?
At first, I would admit, at first, it did sort of, especially with it being my own label, it did sort of get to me a little bit. And it was more so in terms of trying to figure out what I was doing wrong compared to being signed to a label and, the release coming out. And especially in drum and bass, I've found that, like, if you're not excited about it yourself, how do you expect other people to be excited about it?
Yeah,
Okay, so that is lesson one, really. If you're not excited about it, then you can't expect other people to be excited about it. You really, 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 really got to give a shit. You really, really, really got to give a shit. If you're just like, it's all right, it's just a banger, I don't think the time for playing it cool is here anymore. Like, I don't think we should be playing anything cool in the slightest. If somebody sends me a tune, they're like, it's all right, then really, as a label, as a responsible label, I should be going back to them and saying, well, if it's just all right, I don't want it. If it's just feeling all right, like, what can we do to make it feel better to you? How can we make you feel excited? What is it that's not making you feel excited? Now, this could be something as simple as just leaving it for 6 months and coming back to it and going, oh my God, right, I've forgotten about all that hard work and all those tricky things I had to overcome to get to that track. This is wicked. I am really excited about it now. That's the excitement that you need and you need to maintain. And from a label point of view, if I'm not like, holy shit, I want this and I need to get it out to as many people's ears as possible, I shouldn't be signing it either. You need to be excited by the music. This is the first lesson.
And that, like that, I think that was the biggest thing in stuff. Like, because I used to see other people, they would have releases and they would hardly do anything for it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's still like an old school sort of stigma or assumption that a label does the most of the work for you. Do you know what I mean? I think I remember that in like the mid 2000s, getting into the like early
Mm.
2010s and stuff. But especially now with the explosion of like social media being such a like valued promotional tool and stuff, and how labels have sort of, especially in major labels, how they've sort of changed their approach to um securing artists and stuff like that. It's almost as if the artist has to do the majority of the work and then the label comes in and gives them a bit of a boost. And that, when it comes to like major labels, so then with that in mind, it's like, oh, okay, then if I'm not doing the work, then it's not really going to get anywhere. And that,
Yeah.
Right, okay. So now let's unravel this a little bit. Let's go back in time when I first started working in the music industry. So it was the very early 2000s, and it was that a label did a hell of a lot more of the work. You know, you'd have to build up a little bit of local momentum, but the label would be putting spend into the promo because the labels had more money. They were making more money from the whole kind of process, the triangle in terms of the distributor, the vinyl presser, the artist, the record shop. Everybody would have a cut from vinyl sales. So there was promo from the label in order to invest in advertising, promotion, and things like that. So prior to streaming and stuff, the label did do loads of the hard work, but you would have to do a lot of work to get on their radar. Things are very different now. They've changed hugely. And I think unless you're an established label, you're a major, you've been around since before streaming, or maybe you've had like a viral moment and all eyes are on you at that time, or you've got some type of magical money tree and you're paying a lot for advertising and promos, then labels don't have that. Even labels which have got substantial voices are not cutting through as loudly as they were even 4 or 5 years ago. From my perspective, from what I'm seeing, it's really, really hard. So any artist should never think that, oh right, I've been signed now, like I don't have to do anything, I just got to make the music now. Bliss. I know that's bliss for any creative person who just wants to write music all the time. Absolutely bliss. But I don't think at this stage that can be done. I think an artist and a label really need to work together in lots and lots of different ways that we're going to carry on exploring.
So in terms of like how I deal with like release days, it all sort of hinges on how much I've done, because I can't really control or rely on anybody else and stuff like. And if I feel like I've not done much, then yeah, it's a really bad day. And that, like, but if I feel like I've done a fair bit, if I feel like I've done my job, so to speak, then yeah, if there's not much fanfare in the beginning, then again, I can be patient. Like, yeah, maybe it's the day that I've picked this, that, and the third, but I know eventually things will start reaching people and I'll start getting feedback and stuff like that.
Okay, so now Dilly himself is an artist, so if this could go both, he's speaking from both perspectives, as an artist, as a label owner. Knowing that you've done the work, like, you know, knowing that you've done the work as an artist, whether you are ready to do all of the kind of posts and the promotions and stuff like that, but also as a label, how much legwork have you put in? Release day gets easier the more legwork you put in. But what effort? You know, what is the most effective way of cutting through the noise? How do we make sure that we've done enough legwork, enough promo, enough effort?
I will say one thing that does help is feedback from promo mail outs. They always help to sort of like give me that boost. Like, okay, I know I've already got this group of people that have, you know, said their piece and, you know, let me know whether they like it or not. Giving enough feedback to even download the stuff, because I think that's what you have to do with a lot of like mail out services. But that kind of helps, having that in writing, like, oh, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and things like that. Like, oh, okay, it's coming. People are there. It's coming. Like, you know, that kind of helps with it.
It's coming. Now I can speak from experience here. We've invested in promo on a lot of releases, mainly with Hype Filter for our non-drum and bass promos, and Show Me Your Dirty Face promo for our drum and bass promos. Big up Lee UHF. It's fascinating seeing the DJ reactions come through. It's amazing. It's humbling. It's really frustrating if people don't like it. Some like InFlight actually tells you whether people have opened a promo and just listened to a bit of it. And things like that. Like, it's, you know, which can be really frustrating. It's like, why won't they listen to the other tune? Like, it's bonkers, and it can lead to some really, really cool stuff. Like, Rob Swire has been in Sonnet's inbox as a result of the promos that we've sent out. Now, this is phenomenal. I was there, like, when he was texting me. I was at a festival, and he was texting me. He's like, oh my God, Rob Swire's in my inbox. This video says more than I could.
Okay, this one's really, really special now. We've got Sonnet. We are celebrating his new EP. It's been described as Skrillex, Noisia, and a La Boo Boo by Rob Swire from Pendulum. Like, hey! Yo, this is the man of the moment, Sonnet. Hey!
I didn't even know what a La Boo Boo was at that point. Luckily, my kids aren't into them. I'm like, but I mean, did that translate to promo afterwards? So, I mean, I made that video. I was really, really pleased with it, but I've had videos which I put way less effort into and just clip from an interview do way, way, way better in terms of the actual kind of views that it had. Did the algorithms pick up on the fact that it was promo and not just a funny clip? I don't know. Like it didn't. I don't think it reached the eyes of Skrillex or the owner of Big Labubu Corporation or whatever. I don't know what impact that video had. I was thinking like, this is amazing promo. Rob Swear's in the inbox, but I think the only time we're really going to benefit from that is if there was a Pendulum remix on One More Thing. But even with DJ promo, things can be a bit different, or you can't quite tell. There's a bit of smoke and mirrors in there. It's great knowing that people are playing your music, but unless you see them playing the music, is it really happening?
Oh yeah.
Do you, I mean, like, it's hard to believe sometimes. We had one release and there was all of the big names, Pendulum, Cameron Crooked, High Contrast, all saying that they really loved it and they were going to play it. But then I don't go to a lot of big raves. I haven't been present that much this summer because I've been busy with families and stuff. So I haven't been let it roll, hospitality, all those type of things where I'd normally see those DJs. So then you're in this weird kind of, what's it, like Schrodinger's cat, where it's like, if you go to their set, they're never going to play that tune. But if you don't go to their set and you've seen that they've supported it, then you can say, it's like, can you actually say, Cameron Crooked are supporting my release, unless you've actually heard them play it or seen evidence? And I overthink far too much, but it's like, when heavy support from, all of these amazing names, but it's like, well, I don't even know if they have supported or whether they're just being kind because they know me or they know the artist and they don't want to be a dick.
You know what? You know what? And this is my ADHD kicking in with the thought of it and stuff. I went through so many different scenarios in my head while she was saying that. And I think the best thing you can do is to not overthink it, or at least hope that because they've said they're supporting it, they are, you just haven't seen it. Do you know what I mean? And like, hopefully, someone will get a video clip when it gets dropped, if it gets dropped, and stuff like that. And if it doesn't, it's just the nature of the beast, kind of thing, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and stuff. Because I used to get. I would even say, even this year, I got a bit bogged down with that whole thing. I think because of how well Dutty Like a Bumba did from getting played at Boomtown like a couple of years ago and stuff, or Chopper Remix with Andy C playing it everywhere. Once you hit that level of like exposure and notoriety from these big names, you kind of chase it, and then when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, it's either you hope that it is happening, you're just not seeing it, or it's not happening. That's it. It's a dead tune. Do you know
It's
what I mean?
over.
And stuff. And it's like, yeah, you've got to kind of. I think with me, like, I had to just kind of just have faith in the process, because every now and again outside of that, I would get a message like, "Oh, I heard your tune." And that would, yo, is this your tune? And he would send me like a voice recording of it being played in the club or something. Do you know what I mean? Like a little comment, like, "Oh, I heard this," or I
Yeah.
played this today. And do you know what I mean? And it does, for me, I had to drop my ego down from, okay, I've had Andy C, the biggest name in drum and bass, playing my tune, to everyone's on the same level.
Right, now this is a really important point. I feel like it can really affect your expectations. Like, to use Sonnet as an example again, having Rob Swire on his inbox, when I first started circulating his tunes to a couple of big DJs, there was a really quite very instant reaction from certain people, and it made us, it definitely boosted us, and it gave us the energy that we needed to carry on promoing it and stuff. But then it's not really kind of knowing where that will pay off. And then on the next release, started kind of circulating the promos, and they didn't land. They didn't get the same reaction again. And this did have an effect. This did kind of, it can have a psychological effect. Like, expectations can be an absolute killer. And I think, this is a really important thing to remember from any perspective, whether it's as a label or an artist or anything, is that not every track is going to be massive. Not every track is going to be massive. So as much as you're really excited about it, and so you fucking should be, because it's yours and you've made it, it's your art, it's your baby, it's your craft, not everything is going to be massive just because of the sheer volume of everything. But it's a really interesting clip from Fireworks Factory's podcast. If you've not checked it, the link is down there. It's a fascinating journey through the first year of an artist really kind of breaking through. And breaking through with one more thing as well. You know, we're really kind of exploring the highs and lows of that. So if you're interested in that, the link down there. But this is a clip from Fireworks Factory, and I think it's a really, really interesting take, and a really important take too.
So like this music is a lifestyle, it's a culture, it soundtracks absolutely everything. Like, we're not talking about dance floors or raves here, we're talking about just beautiful electronic music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got a bit of a hot take, which is I feel like bangers are great, but like if everyone's trying to make bangers all the time, then there's less room for stuff to just naturally develop.
I think so. You're exploring loads of different ideas, and you could, if you're not giving that freedom and you're not letting yourself off the leash far enough, you're never going to know what you can achieve on the boundaries, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to come back to one more thing as well, it's like, I think it's why I think it's so important that a label like yours is giving space to those releases which aren't like super, this is going to be like on every dance floor, you know.
Not every tune should be a banger. And this really fits in with kind of what Diligent Fingers is saying there. Like, you know, if you're only making bangers to go off and be played by Andy C or Sub Focus or, you know, kind of any of the big guys, Camel and Crooked, then it is going to have a short shelf life, really. And I think, you know, like a dead tune can be dead before it's even out in that way. If you're thinking, oh, fuck, Andy's not playing that dub that I sent him, or it's not getting the support or anything. A tune can't be dead if it's living in its own universe, because it's doing its own thing. You know, you can't, like, if you're just making bangers, then yeah, you are going to feel that, I think, a hell of a lot more. But if you're experimenting and writing music from the heart and really doing something very interesting, then, you know, maybe not. And here's a mad example, right, from Incandescent. I signed a Scartip tune for it called We Should Help. Now, I mean, Scartip sends me lots and lots and lots of amazing music all of the time. He's firing out. He oozes strange and wonderful, unique and original music. But I picked this really oddball 100 BPM track, which I'd used in a mix a little while ago and just really sang to me for whatever reason. And yeah, it got picked. I got a Vision radio play, which was amazing. I know I work on Vision, but I don't select any of the music. I have to submit it just like anybody else. So I'm just as excited or disappointed if stuff doesn't get supported. Martin does the main kind of track selection, and he said he picked 3, and I don't know what the other 2 are yet. So I'm really excited for the next 2 shows. But the first one he picked was this Scartip tune. Like, there's bangers on this album. There's all sorts of really interesting, forward-thinking stuff. But he picked this tune, and what's more, Posei selected it as a Posei cosign. And there could be even more relating to that later on down the line. It's a bit too early to say, but Posei's a massive fan. But it's so different, and this is why he is a massive fan. Now, this tune could never be a banger in a month of Sundays, but it's a tune that exists. It has a sample from him traveling in Vietnam, and it's got his partner saying something on it and stuff. It's really, really odd. It's so odd that you can play around with the tempo so much. It doesn't matter because people are just going to find it odd. But that's the tune that really stood out. And a lot of people fed back on that as well. When I was doing, interviews with all of the other artists from the album, that was the one that stood out. So that's mad. And it's the most unbangery banger ever. So, have a little listen now. Just check this out. You should help me stop talking over this amazing music. Please check out the album. There's loads of versions of it. There's an awesome mix on my channel with interview clips on it and stuff. It's a labour of love, and it's a statement for the future. Peace.
And a Posei cosign this one. I really like this one.
Hey! Oh, wow, go on, sick. Nice.
So back to Dilly.
So it doesn't matter whether it's George from down the street who's playing it on his Pioneer DJ 400 controller, or
Big up, George.
Do you know what I mean? Hold tight, George, man. Hold tight, George. Or Andy C, who's playing it in New Zealand. Like, it's all relative. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything's on the same level and stuff. I think that makes it, at least for me in my head, that sort of balances it out a bit for me, you know?
Definitely, definitely. And always knowing that just because it's out straight away, people aren't going to check it immediately. And it was something that Cross told me, and I tell it to every artist I ever sign and I ever work with or mentor. Because he rang me up, it was on my birthday, and we'd released Fantasy's book. And me and Fantasy have been egging each other on for 18 months, like, yeah, this is going to be wicked, this is going to be wicked. And there was a point where we honestly fooled ourselves into thinking the books would sell like tens of thousands of copies. He's like, mate, I'm gonna pay your mortgage off for you. And then on the day, literally no messages about it, nothing. There was no kind of sales. It wasn't like looking at views on a streaming platform or anything. But it really got me down. It's like, oh my God, I've been so excited about today, the day my book gets released, or a day a book I co-wrote gets released, to say it technically accurate. Obviously, it was Fantasy's book. But I was really down in the doldrums. And then Cross rang me out of the blue to ask about something. And he was like, what's up? What's up? You sound a bit down. So I explained. He's like, mate. He's like, you've got to leave it years. Someone might talk to you about this in 10 years' time. And I was like, wow. He's like, someone might pick it up in some type of traveling place in Thailand. They might see it and they'll read it and it'll blow their mind and they'll get in touch with you then. He's like, these are the type of time frames that you need to look at. It's like, that book is out there in the universe forever, just like any piece of music, any piece of art. I got goosebumps now thinking about it, and it was exactly what I needed to hear.
Definitely.
But even then, like I say this to other artists, I still, every release day, it's like, why won't you listen? Why isn't my dad listening to this? Why isn't my brother messaging me about it? Why isn't every person on Facebook messaging us about this release? Because they have lives, and half of them, because we're in the same industry, are probably pushing music and art themselves anyway, like hoping the same thing.
Yeah, I think we both say similar things, like to the same sort of conclusion. Like I say to my artists all the time, like in a different way, it's all about post promotion. You can't expect everybody to know about your tune within the first week or second week. Do you know what I mean? Once again, hold tight, George. George has been doing overtime for 3 months. Yeah, I had time to go on social media and check out the post. And if I'm only leaving it to that first 2 weeks, 3 months later, George has finished his overtime. He loves a bit of Diligent Fingers. He loves a bit of drum and bass jungle. Do you know what I mean? He's got a few of my tunes on his Pioneer DJ and DDJ 400. And that, if I'm not still promoting it and letting people know that it's out there, he's going to completely miss it. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's on release day or 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months further down the line. If it's something that you're proud of, if it's something that you've poured hours, blood, sweat, and tears, even money, do you know what I mean? If you're paying for session singers, this, that, and the third, music videos, all this stuff, why would you just lose all energy for it the day that it comes out? That's the most important time. It's out.
That's where the hard work
get
starts.
it. Yeah, and people can get it. It's not, it's coming in 2 weeks, and then you're hoping people remember. Do you know what I mean? To go out and get it when it comes out, or see your post on the day with their ever-evolving algorithms of other things that they're watching, like funny cat videos, cats kneading dough and slapping their owners in the face, or I could get off on a mad tangent, but it's the biggest thing that I've always sort of looked at. Like, no, you've done all of this work. One, you can't drop the ball when it comes out. You've got to be just as infused and energized, and for a good 6 months, I would say. And now, especially if it's a big body of work like an album or an EP and stuff. And two, please don't send people, after you've done all of that, please don't send people to the place that pays you the least.
Yeah.
Please don't. What? I've done all of this. Go over there to the place that pays me 0.000000 on the penny or the dollar. Come on, people, But that's another tangent for another day.
Yes, that is another tangent for another day, but it's so true. It's so true. I mean, I want all of these interviews to be as focused as possible, and Spotify and streaming is such a massive thorny thing that I'm sure there'll be lots of episodes dedicated to that in the future if I keep this series going. But it's such a point. It's such an important point.
And I still remember that switch from when it was all pre-release, when we was working in magazines and stuff, and it was all pre-release and pre-promo. And now with the internet, and it was like I won't even do a review because someone can press play and listen to it themselves and do the review in their own brain and work out whether they like it or not. They need to be given the story and the information and stuff like that much more to understand where it's come from. And now everything, the real mission starts on release day and continues for as long as possible, really. There was a famous rapper, I think it was Jared the Damager, I can't remember, but it was relatively recently, saying that they were still touring, promoting their album that they'd released 18 months before. And that's real music promotion. And even when you go back to the 80s with the majors and loads of money swimming around in the industry, when you hear about the stories that promo, like bands would take years of like touring schools. If it was like a kind of, more kind of youth related band, they'd be doing schools, youth clubs for free for years before they were even given any type of paycheck. So I think it's worth remembering that, like, all of this is kind of promo. And some people, they'll just stick with the two week window. Like someone might pay for some editorial and I might be a little bit long, which is unlike me completely.
You're always so punctual.
I was today, actually. I was quite pleased with myself today. But that's like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm a bit late. It's like, you've kind of missed the 2 week release window. We're on to our next release now. Like, I'll do the promo on the next release instead. It's like, what? 2 weeks? Like, that's barely exactly like you said. Like, George might have been on holiday, or George might have been grounded or something. No internet for George for 2 weeks because he got caught, I don't know, playing Badadan too many times. Like, and he annoyed his dad or something, and he hasn't been able to find out about it. Like, if you've missed that 2 week window, and it's the assumption that you think everybody knows just because you've made that one post, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, man. This is it. I think this is the biggest thing that even over the last few years. Just watching like some of my favorite mainstream artists like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and people like that, even to pop stars like Taylor Swift, who's released, do you know what I mean, the Diary of a Showgirl album and stuff like that. You're seeing them touring their album for over a year, like months. Do you know what I mean? World tours, international tours, and stuff like that. Like they're pushing it as much as they can because they want to get the most out. They want people to hear, as many people to hear it as possible. That's what I'm planning to do, and I think that's why I've sort of dropped things down to the biggest thing that I'm going to release each year is going to be an album, because at least from that point you've got 16 tracks. 16 tracks. 16 16 tracks. That should be able to last you. And then from there, my job is to just get it to as many ears as possible. As many, if I'm going for money, the money will come eventually. Do you know what I mean? But my main goal has got to be getting it to as many ears as possible. So if I can get in schools, if I can get in universities, if I can do talks, if I can do interviews, publication, anything at all, whether it's free or pay, I ain't paying for it, I don't care. It all goes towards getting this story of mine, this body of work, this baby that I have nurtured for so long, to as many ears as possible. And that really, brilliant. So because we could go on so many tangents, so many tangents, breaking down the music industry and like assumptions and like misconceptions and things like that. There's so much I've learned since relaunching Spinal Records, and next year it's going to be 5 years. Next year, June, is going to be 5 years of Spinal Records, man.
One more thing.
Some huge love to Dilly, and the link to his album and Spinal Recordings is all down there as well. So I know he's going to be on the channel again in the future. But what have we learned from this? Like, what have we learned from that interview and then me waffling about the interview on top? So let's just quickly have a summary. Like, firstly, give a shit. Give a monkeys, like give a massive monkeys about your music. Don't play it cool. If you're not excited about it, no one else can be. And even if your overexcitement seems too enthusiasm or too enthusiastic, too much, then those people aren't maybe going to vibe with your music anyway, be excited about it. And I know not everybody is a naturally fizzy person like I can be. It's more nervous energy than excitement sometimes. But there is a way of showing genuine passion and love for it. And this is not the time for apathy. This is not the time for, oh, yes, made some bangers, man. Like, I made some fucking bangers, man. Don't let your expectations or assumptions fool you. If you do have loads of success on one thing, don't expect that to be repeated on the next thing, really. Not every tune is going to get the full support, even if it's amazing, just because of the volume of things. There's so many things that I've slept on over the years and stuff. Do it for George. Make tunes that are so good and put your art out there that resonates with people who are actually buying the music. Real music fans. They're still out there. They still give a shit. They still buy music. They still buy tickets. They still buy merch. Like develop mailing lists. Think of new people. Like what Dilly was saying. Get it to new ears. Like, I've got myself a mantra this year. Find someone new to send something to every single day. Even if that's an older release. If I see a DJ and I think, ooh, I know what would fit in with that. I'm going to send them this Lakeway promo, this Whoosh promo, this Ben promo. Get in touch with as many people as you can. Find those people who do engage with your post and see if you can give them something in order for them to help you kind of push out. Like, give them a dub or something like that. Like, one post isn't enough. Post. Like Dilly was saying, post for months. Post as long as you possibly can. Find other ways. Look at other ways. Research other ways of doing social media promo. One post is not enough for anything. That's from a label point of view, from an artist point of view, from any type of promo. You can't expect a fraction of people who are into what you're doing to have seen that one post. And the final point, the most important point, don't send everybody to the cheapest place that pays you peanuts. And that's it. That is my first entry in my diary, a diary of a label owner. I'll be doing these as often as I can. Every time there'll be an interview with someone who owns a label and has been running a label and had a bit more experience and insight than me, so I can learn something from them. I can ask lots of questions, and they can shed light and share ideas, really, and we can talk about the process. Like I said in the intro, I think now is the time for labels, real human labels who really, really care, and can curate in a way that no algorithm and no amount of AI, kind of human machine learning could possibly do. Like, now is the time for labels to really kind of bring the humans together and really squeeze the next levels of art out of people, really, and squeeze it out all over the universe, rather than the AI bilge that we are going to get hit by a tsunami with, and other genres already are. It's only a matter of time. So let's be vigilant. Let's support real people. Let's support Diligent Fingers. Like, all of the links are down there. Thank you to everybody who's watched this. If you've enjoyed it, then please let us know. Like, kind of comments or shares and enthusiasm go a hell of a long way. And I don't think there's many kind of concepts that talk about label running. So if you do know other people who run labels, then, kind of share this with them or anything. And if you want to support us, the Incandescent album is out now. £10, 35 tracks, and you'll be making 37 artists and me happy there. So if you can, that would be amazing. And yeah, stay tuned. I might do another one of these very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Big up all supporters. Big up all label owners as well. It's tough out here.
One more thing.